Welcome to the Make More Money as a Dietitian podcast. I am your host, Christine Diane Thompson, and this podcast is for dietitians who are ready to stop apologizing for wanting more money, more freedom, and a career that actually honors everything that you bring to the table. This is where we ditch the guilt and start building something big. If that resonates with you, let's go ahead and get started with today's episode. Hey there, dietitian friends. Welcome to episode 368 of the Make More Money as a Dietitian podcast. So happy to have you back this week for another episode on the pod. I want to talk to you today about an important topic because it's something that I have had so many of you talking about, asking questions about. I have seen many of my colleagues discussing the topic of business coaching and it not working for them. Okay. And I know if you're on Facebook and you're in some of the Facebook dietitian specific Facebook groups, you have probably seen or even been a part of some of these conversations around business coaching. Okay. And today I want to talk to you about the real reason business coaching isn't working for you if you've had this experience. So if you've ever felt like you're doing everything right in your nutrition practice, but you're still struggling, this episode is for you. If you have bought all the courses, hired coaches, followed frameworks, and you're still not where you want to be, I want you to listen up, okay? And if you've ever started to wonder what is wrong with me, this episode is for you because there is nothing wrong with you, okay? So I want to start off with a little bit of a personal story. And I want to let you all know that I have been in entrepreneurship in one iteration or another since the early 2000s. And when I say early 2000s, I'm talking about 2003. Okay. 2003 was when I actually started out my entrepreneurial journey. And at that time, there wasn't a lot of business coaches out there, quite honestly, let alone dietitian business coaches. And the first coach that I actually worked with was a dietitian who was at that time going through her own coaching program, and she needed someone that she could coach for free in order to practice. Okay. This dietitian is a seasoned dietitian who has since retired from the profession, but she actually coached me very well at that time. And I actually never stopped hiring business coaches ever since that experience. I always had someone that was mentoring me, supporting me along my journey ever since then, because I found the value of having someone else's eyes and ears on my unique experience, my unique situation, and my unique goals and aspirations for my career. But what I learned along the way, even though I do value coaching, what I learned along the way, my friends, is that there are aspects of coaching, hiring a coach, buying programs, courses, being a part of memberships, masterminds, all of that. There are aspects of that are not meant to be followed to the T. Okay. So if you've ever heard that saying, take the meat and leave the bones, that's what I'm talking about. I think that one of the bigger reasons why business coaching isn't working for a lot of us, some of us, I should say, instead of a lot of us, maybe some of us, is that we put so much trust in our coaches and not enough trust in ourselves. We don't trust ourselves enough to be able to discern what will work for us and what will not. I recently hired a business coach to help me get my podcast back up and running. She was the one that suggested that I just start over with Make More Money as a Dietitian again. Instead of trying to rebrand it again into something else, she was just like, just go back. And I was like, you're right. And then I noticed that the rest of her program was really tailored to a beginner. And I'm not a beginner. Like I mentioned, I have been doing this entrepreneurial journey since 2003. So I took the meat and I'm leaving the bones. I know what I need and I leave the rest. And I think that is what I really want to share with you today. You have to be willing to be discerning about what you need. And of course, if you're a beginner, sometimes you don't know exactly what you need. And that is where your intuition comes in. Because I promise you that there is not one thing that you may have signed up for or bought into that you didn't get something from. And maybe you weren't meant to get the whole enchilada, but maybe you were meant to get what you were meant to get. I have a mentor who actually shared her experience with this because she is a sales coach. And she hears a lot of the same conversations that I hear a lot of my colleagues talking about. Oh, we bought this or we hired this person and it didn't turn out well and blah, blah, blah. And what she said really resonated with me because it's the same experience that I have, and I want to share it with you. What's really important is that you decide ahead of time that you are going to get what you need from the coach, from the course, from the mastermind, from the membership program, whatever it is. Like, you have to decide, I'm going to get what I come for. I'm going to get what I need. I'm going to get something from this, and whatever I get from it is what I'm meant to get from it. There have been things, my friends, that I have bought, courses that I've bought, coaches that I've hired, that maybe I didn't get exactly what I thought I was going to get. Maybe I didn't get what I thought they promised me that they were going to give, but I did get what I needed. I decide ahead of time that I'm going to get what I need. And it may not be everything that they promised, and that's okay. That is completely okay. Sometimes you're not meant to get everything that is promised. And is that in integrity on the other person's side? We're not here to discuss that part. Okay. I think that when we get so upset that, a person oversold and under delivered, when we get so disenchanted or disheartened about it, we're the ones who are missing out when we decide that one person or that one course or that one experience is just going to make us sour for the entire industry. Who suffers because of that? It's you. It's you. You are the one who ends up not being able to move forward in your career in the way that you want. And so the real reason that business coaching isn't working for you, if you've decided that it isn't working, that it won't work, then that's the real reason. The real reason is that you have decided that it won't work, that you didn't decide ahead of time that you were going to get what you're going to get. You're going to go into this with a positive attitude. And if in the midst of the situation, you feel like you're really not getting what you were promised, do you mention it? Do you say something to the coach? Do you say something to the course creator, the leader of the mastermind, whatever it is? Or do you just walk away pissed and then go into a Facebook group and rant and rave and have everyone else cheering you on? Yeah, and I did this and I hired this person and they were horrible and da 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 da. Because as humans, we love to commiserate and we love people to rally around us with the commiseration. And it's just kind of crazy, if you ask me. So once again, the real reason that business coaching isn't working for you is because you've decided that it won't work and that you haven't, or maybe you didn't, speak up for yourself when it wasn't working, and maybe you just walked away from it. So I also want to talk about what traditional business coaching gets wrong, and this is just my opinion, okay? So what traditional business coaching gets wrong, in my personal and professional opinion, is this, is that it treats you like a machine. Sometimes we get treated as if we are a one size fits all business, right? So do this, don't do that, and you'll get this result. And that is not how it works, my friends. That is not how it works. Not everyone is going to get the same result, even with executing the same formula. It just doesn't work. And you know this, my friends. You know this as registered dietitians. You know that one diet doesn't fit all. So why would one business strategy created by one course creator or one coach fit everyone? Why? Because it doesn't. It does not. There is no one size fits all strategy for your business. Someone can create a framework that worked for them, and that does not mean that that exact framework will work for you. There may be elements of the framework that will work for you, but it does not mean that it will work exactly for you in the same way that it worked for them. And you have to be willing to understand that. And you have to be willing to still be a part of the program and get what it is that you need and make it work for your unique business. Okay? Another thing that traditional business coaching gets wrong, in my opinion, is that it ignores your humanity. And what I mean by that is that traditional business coaching ignores your values, your energy, and your actual life circumstances. I hear this time and time again when I do private coaching with my dietitian clients. They did all of the things and did not get the results because their lifestyle was maybe different from the person who created the course, the program, or maybe their coach. Maybe their coach has a lifestyle where they don't have any children and you have 3 kids under 5 and you're a stay-at-home mom. You don't have a lot of time to devote to all of these things within this program or the framework. And you're like, well, this isn't going to work for me. So sometimes traditional business coaching does not take into account your values, your energy, and your life circumstances, which I think is very important. And another thing that traditional business coaching gets wrong is that it focuses on fixing what is, quote, broken. Okay, so instead of building on what's already working, what could potentially already be working in your career as a dietitian, in your business. Maybe you already have one. Maybe you've already started the elements of building the foundation for one. It doesn't take that into consideration. Okay. And yet it focuses on what's broken in your business. Not always, but sometimes. So I want you to think about some of the things that could be better. Okay. I want you to think about why you want business coaching in the first place. Okay. Because what actually works are these following things. Now, remember, these are just my opinions. Okay. Once again, take the meat, throw away the bones, even of my opinions. So what actually works in my opinion is that you start where you are, okay? And you start with who you are, not what you think you should do. Start with who you are. I don't want you to think about what you believe you think you should do. Oh, I need to do this, or I need to do that. I need to build a website, and then I need to do this. I need to get credentialed with the insurances, or do I really need to do that first? Or I want you to start with who you are. And what does that mean? Who you are. What is your lifestyle right now? Are you a busy stay-at-home mom? Are you single with no children and just graduating? Are you a more seasoned dietitian who is in the next stage of your career and wanting to build something of your own after having worked for someone for years? Start with who you are, not what you think you should be doing based on what someone else is saying. Get that clarity first. That's what actually works. I also want you to build a business that serves your life. Okay? Your business should serve your life. And a lot of times we build based on what we want our life to be like in the future. But I'm suggesting that you create for the life that you have right now. Okay? That's what actually works. Because if you are constantly focused on the future, you're not being present with your current life, and that is not serving you in the moment that you have right now. So build a business that serves your life right now. I also want you to honor your values instead of fighting against them based on what someone else says you should be doing. Once again. And a lot of times when I work with my dietitian clients, that's one of the first things we identify. What are your core values? What do you value? And a lot of times our values are so ingrained in us and we live them day to day that we really don't recognize them. We don't really name them. They're just a part of who we are. It's like your toenails and your fingernails are just a part of you. You don't really recognize them until you go get a pedicure and a manicure. Okay? So honor your values, identify what they are. My top value, my number one value is freedom and autonomy. It's been me my entire life. What is yours? What is your number one core value? Your personal core values will bleed into your business. You cannot separate. You cannot compartmentalize. Okay, so once again, honor your values. And lastly, what actually works is when you use your natural way of connecting instead of forcing yourself into someone else's mold. So if you're someone who really doesn't want to do patient care, client care, and you would rather create a blog, why are you trying to do one-on-one counseling? Because someone else told you that's the fastest way to make money and you hate it. No, you should be a writer. You should probably invest in a coach that's going to help you set your blog up instead of a coach who's going to tell you that you need to create a course and you need to sell your course. You need to create a group program and blah, 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 because that's what worked for her or him. No, I want you to use your natural way of connecting. And if that's through the written word, then you should be doing that. That is what you should be doing. And I have supported several dietitians with that. Okay? Getting clear on what it is that they really truly want to do. And then helping them at least get started doing that. Am I a writing coach? No. But by them working with me, at least they got the clarity on their next step and they set the foundation so that when they hired that writing coach, that blogging coach, whatever, they're feeling really good and grounded in doing that. So an introvert who builds her business through one-on-one conversations is not using her natural way of connecting, right? Or someone who charges premium prices and she believes in her worth, she's doing the right thing, right? She or he finally realizes that she is worth it, that not only is she worth it, but her clients are worth it too. Because I still am in the belief that when you charge appropriately for the outcomes that you provide, which are life-changing, if you're not doing the insurance piece, then I think charging well helps your clients value their own transformation. Okay? So someone who charges premium prices because she finally believes she and her clients are worth it, that is where you're winning. Okay? Building systems that support your energy instead of draining your energy is also what is necessary. Okay? And that is also what I feel actually works in a very well put together, thriving nutrition business. So I want to give you some permission today. This is the permission that you need, I believe. Number one, you do not have to want what everyone else wants. Okay? You get to do business in your unique way. As a matter of fact, you don't only get to, you should. So permission granted. You don't have to build your business the way everyone else builds theirs. And your sensitivity is not a business liability, it's your superpower. So if you are a sensitive soul, that is not a liability. It is your superpower. And I also want you to know that there are people waiting for your specific way of providing nutrition services. Your gifts and your talents and your unique skills are set up uniquely for the people that are meant to work with you. Okay? So here's what changes when you get all of this right, my friends. When you do business in this way that I'm sharing with you today, okay, business starts feeling like an extension of yourself instead of a costume that maybe you feel like you've put on, okay? And you actually attract clients who want to work with you specifically and not some version of you that you're performing, all right? Believe it or not, money will actually flow more easily, all right? Because you're not fighting against your nature. Money will flow to you more easily. Work becomes energizing, and you stop comparing yourself to others because you're building something that is uniquely yours. How can you compare yourself to someone else when you're doing your unique thing that feels good and energizing and just feels like an extension of you? So I want you to stop trying to fix yourself. Okay. You're not broken. You might just be trying to, fit into someone else's framework. And I want you to start asking yourself different questions. So, not what should I do, but who am I and how do I want to serve? Those are the questions that you should be asking yourself. And then trust your intuition. I want you to trust the voice that's saying the right things, the positive things, the things that make you feel warm and fuzzy on the inside and maybe even a little nervous at the same time. Okay? And that voice that's saying, this doesn't feel right to me, that is valuable information that a lot of times we ignore. So if this resonates with you, my friends, if you're tired of building someone else's version of success, I want you to consider us working together. All right. I help dietitians remember who they are underneath all the business noise. So head on over to manapuracenter.co/booking and let's start working together. Let's get together and partner so that I can help you remember who you are, why you became a dietitian in the first place, what your next iteration of your career should be or is trying to be. Maybe you're stuffing it down. Maybe you're not believing enough in yourself. Whatever that thing is for you, I want to help you uncover it. So once again, let's partner together. Head on over to manapuracenter.co/booking, and that link is in the show notes. And let's just have a conversation about it. Let's see if it's a good fit to do this together, because coaching works, my friends. The main reason why it has not been working for you is because you were not doing it the right way. All right. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you today. I want you to know that you're not failing at business. Business coaching has been failing you by not seeing who you actually are. I want you to know also that the world really needs your specific way of serving our clients, not another copy of someone else's success. Have a great rest of your day and the weekend ahead. I will see you on our next episode of Make More Money as a Dietitian. Bye for now. Hey there, my friend. If something in today's episode hit different, I'd love that for you. This week, I invite you to take one action that feels a little scary, yet honors your work. And for more resources and ways to work together, head on over to manipuracenter.co. Remember, you're not asking for too much, my friend. You've just been settling for too little.